Good morning, everyone. This is Jessica Wirt from Simplesoft Solutions. Could someone just ping the chat box? I just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. Thanks, David. All right. So like I said, this is Jessica Wirt from Simplesoft Solutions. I'm the Customer Success Manager here. And we are partnering with Visual Business Solutions, VBS, to bring you this web event. So we are recording the webinar, so I will send that out afterwards. I just want to take a quick moment to show our upcoming events really quick. Next week on the 28th, we're having a more in-depth demonstration of the latest Infor CloudSuite CRM version. We're going to be focusing on showing the new forecasts and quota feature that they added in this release. We also have in May a demonstration of Inbox Guru, which is the native marketing platform designed specifically for Infor CRM. And then we have a CPQ webinar coming up in June. So just to do a quick introduction, again, I'm Jessica Wirt. We have Terry Unger, who's our project manager at Simplesoft, who is going to be walking us through the ION integration with Visual and showing some features of Infor CRM as well. And we have David Sheriff and Jason Brown from VBS on the call as well to answer any questions that you might have for Visual. So I'm going to have everyone hang on mute and just feel free throughout the webinar to send your questions to the chat box, and we'll try to address them as we go through or during the Q&A portion at the end. So that is it for me. I'm just going to check if we have Terry on. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to her so that she can start walking us through. All right. All right, Terry, I passed it over to you.
Can everybody hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good, because it wasn't coming through at first, so I wanted to make sure everybody could hear me all right. Yeah, my name's Terry Unger. I have been working in these systems for quite a while now, and it's been fun working with all the different customers that we have. Part of it is, of course, just CRM, and other part is connecting the visual and the CRM. It's been a good interaction between the two softwares, and of course they're both owned by Infor, so that's definitely helpful. So what I'm basically going to go through today, and I have two different tools that I'm going to utilize. I'm actually going to show you a current customer that is integrated with the CRM and the ERP and the visual. And of course, we've got some screenshots, but also I'm going to show you a demo site just with the CRM specifically, that functionality that you can utilize just even with the CRM itself. So to get that started, one of the areas that we wanted to kind of touch on was what does integrate? So that's a lot of the questions, right, is, okay, I have these two systems. How do they talk together, and what does go back and forth? So some of the things we wanted to touch on for that are, you know, what can you expect, and what's Simplesoft's approach to this integration. So basically, when we first come into integrating these two systems, our goal is to use the out-of-the-box integration. It is quite robust. It does bring across the majority of the fields that you will utilize between the two systems, and they are interactive, so what happens in one does coordinate with the other side, and vice versa. So This information does stay live between the two systems as your users work with the information. So some of the things we're going to touch on, on an upper level is what does integrate, how do we set up the integration in general, so what's involved in that, and then what's used in between, and then how you can define what data comes across from the ERP to the visual, or from the ERP to the CRM. So the ERP is the ERP owns the information. So if it has any information that is different than the CRM, the ERP is going to win because that's your system of record. Some of the things that you can do from the visual side is if you are multi-site, you can generate that multi-site interaction between the two systems, and they will show up differently based on the site that the customer is associated with. So you can define which of your sites is running a sales order, a customer, that type of thing, and you can then base your reporting on that multi-site. On the syncing between the two systems, when you first load your data from the ERP to the CRM, you can choose what information to bring over. So we have some best practices for age of data. So if you have been using your ERP for quite a few years, some of that data might be inactive or not necessary with your day-to-day business. So you can actually choose to filter based on date of a customer or inactivity of a customer. So if they haven't done any business with you in the last 3 years, you may only want to bring across those customers that have done business with you in the last 3 years. So this actually will allow you to do that. So basically active versus inactive. You can even do a date range. So the filters are basically based on your customer master form. So any field that is showing on that form, you can actually filter by that. This doesn't include custom fields, but any of the standard fields you can filter. Most generally, we see the date, so the last active date being one of the ones we're going to use. You can choose to sync your customer data where the value is customers or prospects. There is some control on the type of customer that's in your system. And then, do you have capability of custom fields? The answer is yes. You can actually sync custom fields. Like I said, when we first start the integration, we like to keep it out of the box just so that we can make sure everything is running as a baseline. And then if you decide that there are some user fields that you'd like to bring over, we can definitely help you with that also. And one of the biggest steps that we take is before we do the integration, we actually go through your data or help you go through your data, and we have some best practices. So there's certain things that you want to make sure that you have clean data for, so that when you're bringing information over into the CRM, it's not going to cause errors, because the information that passes back and forth is very specific. So if you have, say, phone numbers in your state or country field in the ERP, that is not going to integrate well into the CRM because it's expecting a 2-character field for the country. So that sort of thing we know to look for, and we'll help you work with that information that needs to be cleaned up prior to integration. So when you're looking at the CRM, hopefully, everybody can see my screen here. When you're looking at the CRM, there are fields that integrate and information that brings across, but again, not everything does, just critical level information. So what you're looking at here is a customer screen in the CRM. It does have some information here that shows account level demographic information here at the top, and then there is an ERP area that will show the specific ERP information. The highlighted fields are some of those. Now you'll see there's more fields here. That is because the integration is built for multiple ERPs. For the visual, the ones that you're going to see are the ones that do come across. with the addition of the ERP status. That one also does come across. So if a customer on the ERP side is on hold or is inactive, it will actually show up here on the ERP status. So one of the things that the system also manages is ownership. So on the ERP, there's a salesperson field that if you define that field in your ERP, that information is actually going to come across to the CRM. So with these fields that you see here on the ERP side, these fields coordinate with the sales rep and the territory. And then you'll notice that the credit limit also comes across, as well as the address, customer ID, and that sort of information. So on this visual screen, if I go back to my CRM screen, you're going to see here, there's down here at the bottom, the customer ID, the territory information, some payment information, and then, of course, the notes also. So all that information that you see there is what comes across from those visual screens. Now, as you're working with an integrated system, if you make a change on the ERP side, say we change an address, if I change an address here, that's actually going to translate over into the CRM and it's going to update. So, so if I change this to a different address one, that's actually going to be reflected automatically on the CRM side. So there's nothing that needs to be done by a person. That interaction, once it's integrated, will actually be automatic. So one of the areas that the integration does help you with is the assignment of accounts or ownership of accounts or customers. So there is a piece in between the two that say if this is the salesperson and territory on the ERP side, this is the CRM level mapping. So you actually are mapping the ERP salesperson assignment to the CRM salesperson assignment. And then that shows up on that CRM screen up here in the account owner and account manager field. So you do bring across that ownership, so that allows you to build your KPIs, your reporting. All that information is then available here in the CRM. So some of the information that does come across is your sales orders, shipments, invoices, receivables. That all comes across to the CRM from the ERP. So you can see down to a line item level what is on that sales order. So, is it product A, product B? You can actually go in and see what is in that body of the sales order, ship to, bill to information. That's all contained in the CRM now, so users have access to that. So one of the other items available with the CRM is the ability to control what your users see and can interact with. So there are rules and roles that allow you to control. A user can see this record, but they can't make a change to it because the ERP should be your master of record, so you don't want them changing the sales order. So you can actually control that from the CRM side. Some of the items that are available on the sales order. So this is a CRM sales order that's been integrated from the ERP. This is the view that shows up. You're going to notice at the top level, you get your header information on the sales order, including some dates that are related to it. You also can see the purchase order. Down at the below, you're going to see some tabs. Those tabs are going to show you the products that are associated with that sales order. They're also going to show you who it's sold to, the ship to record, the bill to record. That information is all contained right here in this one record. Now, the CRM is what we call account-centric. So if I want to see all the sales orders associated with this record, this abrasive specialist, I can actually click on that account, go to the account level, and then at the account level, I'm going to see a tab similar to this view here. It's going to say sales orders. I can click on that sales orders tab, and I can see all sales orders for that one account. So the CRM allows you to go one place to see everything associated with that account. Some of the syncing between the two systems is what we call the initial load, which is where we are taking all the information that you want to bring from the ERP and you want to put it into the CRM. That's the initial load. That just basically dumps all the information you filtered or not filtered into the CRM. Once that is completed, we have what's called transactional. So one of the bonuses with this ION integration is it's real time. So if you make a change in the ERP, it immediately will send that transactional record over to the CRM. And this view here is that transactional record. You're going to see that the record is coming in. You're going to see that on this resource column here, this is a shipment record that's come in. And it has all of the records associated with those, that shipment record that comes in directly to the CRM. And it's real time. So this is going to run, as soon as it's triggered on the ERP side, it's going to run over here on the CRM side. So it's immediate and real time. So as a general overview, some of the information that moves between the two systems is shown here. This will show you that from the visual side to the CRM side, that it does show that it syncs the information across to the CRM, and then the CRM also sends what they call process information, meaning they process it, here's an update, that type of thing. So it does move information two ways on some things, but not everything. So the upper level customer information does go back and forth, but there are things like the sales orders and some of the background information that fills in all the ERP requirements. That is one way. So visual says, here's what we call this status, and here's what we call that status. So that information all comes across and is carried to the CRM, but the CRM doesn't feed anything back. So you'll notice some of those are like your receivable transactions, your quotes, your shipments, those all go one way. So the CRM doesn't interact with those, it just has visibility to those. So if you ever have any questions on exact fields and forms that move across, just let us know and we can give you a detailed view. But in general, this is the overview or the upper level view of what does integrate. So you have your bill tos, your ship tos, your contacts, your customers, your returns, invoices, your products or your items, then your quotes, and then the receivable transactions, the sales order, shipments, and then those ship to information. So all that is built across and translates over to the two systems. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you an integrated system. So this is a current customer that we have that is currently integrated, and they are integrated with Visual. I'm actually going to go to that sync page that I showed you with those BODs, the integration moving back and forth. So if I go to that page, this is current information that is happening right now. So right now you can see under this resource column, we have sales orders moving back and forth, contact changes. Here's a receivable transaction. You're going to see customer party master down here about halfway through the page. So all these are interactions from the ERP side that's coming into the CRM side. You're going to notice this record column right next door. That one is the actual customer ID number. So as you know, each of your customers has its own unique number that's actually maintained here in the CRM, and you can utilize that for for searching, doing lookups, or reporting, or finding certain information based on that one customer. So we can actually dig directly into a specific customer in the CRM and manage all that information. So this is, like I said, a standard integration. You're going to notice there is all these logs. So this is done real time. So as that record was changed in the ERP, it does update the CRM immediately. So when we're talking about CRM in general, the information is contained in the CRM in a very usable format. So the CRM does more than just just as a repository for the ERP data. The CRM actually can stand on its own. So you can choose to integrate them, or you can choose not to integrate them. But the integration gives you increased visibility to all that back office work with sales orders and gives you the whole picture. So it has a lot of value right here in the CRM side. So on the CRM itself, I'm going to show you what a main screen looks like in a live system. So on the left side over here, this is what we call the navigation. And this is going to show you all the areas that you can access into the CRM. You'll notice we call them accounts and not customers. It's the same concept, except for one caveat, is that the CRM is more of a front end. So you can have leads, suspect, and prospects. So these are those that have not currently purchased from you. So you can actually maintain that pre-customer base here in the CRM. Once that customer or prospective customer has been worked with and communicated to, and you had a relationship with them, and they're ready to then purchase from you, you can promote it from the CRM, and then that promoted record will actually be set up in the ERP side. And then from that point forward, they are integrated, so any changes between the two will go back and forth without any interaction from the user. But initially, when that customer or that pre-customer is in the CRM, it does not communicate with the ERP until the user says, this is now moving to a customer status, and we need to add them to the ERP. So it can stay in the CRM side without any interaction to the ERP until you are ready to actually generate orders for that new customer. And you're going to see that just looking at this list view here. You're going to see this customer ID field, the second column here. This is actually the CRM related accounts between the two systems. So you're going to see there's a difference here between the ones that are integrated, like this Edge Food, versus the ones that are not, like this BG Mechanical. This would be either a prospect, as you can see, it's coming in as a prospect. So this would be a prospect versus an account, a customer. So this allows you to maintain marketing and sales endeavors against accounts that are not yet moved over to the ERP. If I go into one of these accounts, I'm just going to click on the link. It's going to take me to what we call the detail view of an account. So in this account, you're going to see some information here that is related specifically to this customer. Now, this is a customer's environment, so they have some custom information in here. But you're going to notice that in all the CRM screens, it has very detailed information per record, and that is all very similar between all the records. So if I look at an account screen, it's going to have upper level demographics. Bottom area is going to have tab views for the child records or the extended details on that account, like looking at my sales orders or any quotes that are associated or any opportunities that are associated. I'm actually going to see that right here. So if I click on opportunities, I'm going to see any potential opportunities associated with this account. I'm going to see, if I click on contacts, I'm going to see any associated contacts, and information will all be visible for that record. I should have found one that had some information here. But if I want to go to one of those records, I can actually click on that link and it will take you to that specific record. So if I wanted to look at the detailed view of a contact, I would click on that contact's name and it would take me to that contact level. So if I look over here on the left-hand side in the navigation, you're going to see opportunities. Now, from here, I can actually do a lookup for any level of the system right from this one screen. So I know in visual, you actually have to go to that screen and do a lookup or a filter based on that, that screen you're currently on. In the CRM, it is a little more user-friendly. I can actually do a search for an account or for an opportunity associated with an account right here from this left navigation. This left navigation never changes, no matter where you're at screen-wise. So if I right-click on accounts, you're going to see this lookup. So I can actually do a lookup where I'm wanting to find a specific account, and I can do that lookup utilizing this to bring in any field that I've associated with my lookup as my search field. So I can actually choose to search by that customer ID I was talking about. So this lookup is available on all your levels. So if you'll notice over here on the left side, I have opportunities. I can right-click on this and do a lookup for an opportunity. So if I do that lookup for the opportunity, it looks very much the same with that same lookup drop down here also. So the usability of the system is, once you've learned how the system works, it's very cohesive. So what you take from the account level, you know, how to navigate, how to move around, you can use that same concept on the opportunity level. So for an example, if I go to opportunities, it is going to allow me to see that information also here. Of course, I have no opportunities in the system. So when you are using opportunities, you can create an opportunity. I'm going to show you a demo site that does have data in it. So I'll be able to show you opportunities, but it will go through and give you the detail view. And you'll notice as you move down from this left-hand side, here's where you can see all your sales orders, all your activities, invoices. So as far as data goes, the system will show you information here. So from our PowerPoint, remember I showed you a sales order detail screen. That information is here on this sales order view. So if I go into the sales order, you're going to see the upper level header information, and then down below the records associated with that sales order in that tab view, just like I showed you in the PowerPoint. So the information is all very similar and very usable. So let's go over to the CRM demo site so I can show you how the record moves here. So on the demo site, you're going to see information here that I will show you from an account to a contact to an opportunity. It's all tied in. So what you're looking at here is actually the newest version. This version has a little different color concept. The CRM being the account centric. If I go into a customer and show the detail screen, this is where you're going to see the information laid out with those tabs and opportunities associated with that. As I scroll down through my list, you're going to notice down here, this one actually has an opportunity. So if I click on that link, it's going to take me to that opportunity, and I'm going to see all the detail information from the opportunity. So the CRM is contained in this linked views. Within those linked views, you have so many processes you can utilize. You have activities and notes. You have Outlook integration. So that Outlook integration automatically comes with the CRM, meaning that it works seamlessly between the two systems. Once you install that Outlook integration piece, it actually resides in the Outlook, so that if I send an email, it's going to actually give me that opportunity to save that email into the CRM under that specific record. So the two systems are linked by email address. So if I look, for example, at my Outlook system, you're going to notice up here at the top, I have a CRM toolbar. So once this system is integrated, and the two, Outlook and CRM, are integrated. It works together. So if I actually send a new email to someone in the CRM, and that email pops up, come on, Outlook. And the email pops up, there's actually a function within that email screen that says, it's hiding, that allows me to do what they call a send to CRM. So this send to CRM is taking the to and CC email addresses and associating the record of this email into the CRM on the history tab. So when you look at the CRM, you're going to notice this notes and history area here. This is available on almost all the records. So on the opportunity, I can associate an email. On the account, the contact, on a lead, all that information looks the same here, and I can choose to record it against a record based on that, that email address. So when I do that send to CRM, I can actually say assign that email to this opportunity, or assign the email to my account and contact. So it allows me to bring that history into the system to show the interactions with the customer. So that's where the CRM really shines, is it is showing how we have communicated with that customer. So you're going to notice here in that history tab on this record, there have been some information, some meetings, some phone calls that's gone back and forth. If I have an email I'm associated with this opportunity, it will show up here as email down here in the bottom left. So it will actually associate based on how I'm communicating. So if I'm telling it I'm going into a meeting, it will assign that as a meeting type. Phone call, same thing. If I send an email, it says email. If I add a note, it will actually show that it's just a note to the system. So you can, all this information that we're putting into the system, you can also report on. So this allows us to have direct knowledge of all the communication that we're having from all users of the system. So if one salesperson's having a phone call and they go off on vacation and that customer calls in, somebody else can pick up right where they've left off just by utilizing this Notes and History and Activities tab. So Notes and History is considered something that's happened in the past or has been completed. There is also the activity concept. So activities in the CRM are plans for something that needs to be done. It can be a to-do, it can be a phone call, it can be a meeting. So here you're going to see those activities that need to be completed, and then you're also going to see that complete capability over here on the left-hand side. So I can actually click that link and say I've completed that activity, put my notes in. Once I've done that, it removes it from the Activities tab, moves it to the Notes and History. Now, these activities that you see here are also available with that Outlook integration. So the Outlook, as you know, has a calendaring capability. Well, the CRM also has that calendar capability. If you look over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see Calendar. If I click on Calendar, it's going to take me to a very similar view that you have in Outlook, which is your standard calendar view. And this one is, let's see if I can get to something here. There's some. So here you can see there is a view on a calendar setup, right? So your standard entries per calendar. If I go to the Outlook and go to my calendar in Outlook, I'm also going to be able to see those same entries here. So I can tell the system to integrate. So here's some items up here at the top in my Outlook that reflect the information that I have in my CRM. You can choose to sync one way or two way. You can choose to sync against a custom calendar. So you can create a new calendar in Outlook that allows you to sync just work items, because we all know we use our calendar for personal items too. So you can actually sync that information from the Outlook to CRM only from a specific work calendar. You can sync tasks So a task is considered a to-do. Outlook has a task capability, so you can sync your tasks also. In certain cases, you may want to sync contacts. I generally recommend that that's not needed, because one of the pieces of the Outlook integration that you have included is the Xbar. The Xbar has hands down been one of the greatest inventions they've done, because basically what the Xbar does is it lives in your CRM. So, or sorry, it lives in your Outlook. So if you look here at my Outlook, I'll make this a little bit bigger here. In my Outlook, I can see from the left-hand side here is my inbox, right? So if I actually click on an inbox, I'm going to see the information related to that email address in the CRM right here in my Outlook. So if you look over here on the right-hand side, here's an Xbar record in the system, and it will tell me some basic information, what company they're with, what their phone number is, their email address. I can see down here in the center area, these are called totems, and these are actual open records for this customer. So each of the totems has certain meanings, right? So we have current activities, which this one doesn't currently have. We have past due activities. So I can actually click on that totem and see a list. So if I go to this contact in the CRM, I'm going to see this open activity that needs to be completed. And if I go back to my main screen, I'm going to see recent history. So this is going to give me the top number of histories that this customer's had, or this contact has had. So you can see they've had some phone calls, a couple notes have been added, right? This is CRM information. This is CRM information that I'm actually seeing right here in Outlook. I don't have to go into my CRM to interact with that information. So one of the other things I have here is opportunities. So I can even see any opportunity, any open opportunity that is associated with this actual contact. And I can edit some of that top level information, not everything, but top level information. I can click on this actual opportunity item here, and it's going to take me to some upper level header information where I can actually change the name of the opportunity and some minor header information. I can also add a note to this opportunity if needed, that will show on the main facing of that opportunity, or the main header. So as I go back to my record, you also notice some what we call tabs down here at the bottom. So these tabs tell me if they have any of that. It's similar to what's up here, but this has more to it, because now I can actually complete an activity right here from my Xbar. So now we have the CRM side. I can complete it on the record, on the CRM calendar. I can come to the Outlook and I can complete it right here in my Xbar. I can also go to my Outlook calendar and complete that same activity here too. So I have multiple ways I can do the same action, and it's going to give me the same result. So you can work with the system how it is most efficient for you. So not only can I create or work with current activities, I can also create new. So I can plan my day using the CRM. I can plan my interactions with my customers to make sure that I am not losing opportunities. I'm communicating with my prospects and leads to make sure I move them into a purchasing customer. I can work with that CRM and the ERP data right there in the system to allow me to bring forth the information I need when I'm on a call in a meeting with this customer, and I can make sure that I am closing my deals and making sure that I'm moving the revenue forward for the company. And I can do that all with this interaction between the ERP, the CRM, and my Outlook. It all ties together to give me the strongest presence in front of my customer, because I can tell them right off if we've done any work with them in the past. I can tell them any past orders they've got. If I'm integrated with my ERP, I can tell them they have 5 invoices still due. They have a shipment that's out to them. I can go through and I can give them all the information they need without them having to call back in multiple times. So now I've increased the value of their time, because when they're on the phone with me, I can give them what they need. The other capability of the CRM is on the back end for support and service. So the CRM also offers additional steps with the ticketing, returns, RMAs. You can actually go down to root cause analysis with any support calls. On the front end, it has marketing. There is an Inbox Guru integration or other marketing platforms that you can utilize for landing pages, for email marketing. That email marketing, if it's integrated with the CRM, will actually bring in, customer clicked on this link, they looked at that page, customer requests more information, it can send that information into the CRM. If they want more information, it can actually create them as a lead in the CRM for somebody to follow up on. So the system is fully integrated from front end, never done business, to all the way through the back end of, here's our invoice, here's our dollars that we've associated with this account. So you can also get reporting from the system. The CRM allows for web dashboards, and we call them groups. You might call them queries or reports, but they're real-time information about data in the system. So what that means is, if you look at the very top of your screen right now, you're going to see some tabs up here at the very top. These are all groups, and these are groups where you can build conditions to get data out of your system. So as an example, if I look at this latest accounts group, this is going to give me all accounts that have been touched in the last 30 days. So if you also think about the opposite of that, you can create a group that says, give me all the accounts that haven't been touched in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So not only can you work with your current active customers and accounts, but you can also work with those that you're trying to either bring back into business or to generate your first business in general. But the reporting is available on all the fields in the system. You can do groups. You can also utilize what they call filters. So over here on the far right-hand side, when I'm in a group view like this, I have filters available. These are basically reporting on the run. So if I have a large group, and I'm going to go to the all accounts group so I can show you. If I have a large group, I have filters available over here so that I can filter this down to a more manageable list of customers that I want to do work with, or I want to send an email. You have mail merge capability out of the system. So you can send a group email to people. But under all accounts, I have 1,070 records. I can't work with 1,000 records all at once. So over here on the right-hand side, I can choose to filter this group down right on at runtime. So that means that this filter only happens, I'm not really changing the group, I'm just changing my view of. So if I go over here on the right-hand side, I can actually filter by ownership. So I want to look only at, say, Georgine's record or her accounts. She has 21 of them. So I can see this list of 21 accounts right here in the system. I can do this same filtering on the account view, the contact view, the sales order view, and I can mix and match my filters, and these filters only pertain to me. So if somebody else goes into the system, they go to the same group, and they want to work with the information, they can choose the filters that they need to see. So that is how the system gives you real-time information. So if the database changes or the system changes, a new record comes in the system and it's assigned to Georgine, it will show up here without me having to do anything. It's just going to automatically show up as that interaction is working with other users and other systems. So that is a very quick run through on the CRM and the visual integration. And I'm sure you're going to have questions. And we'll be more than happy to give you a deeper dive in how the two systems work together, as well as the CRM and the Outlook integration. So at this point, I believe my time is up. So I'm going, and hopefully I've at least piqued your interest so that if you have questions, you know how to get a hold of us, and we'll be glad to give you a deeper look into the system. So at this point, Jess, I think I can give it back to you for the.
If you want to leave your screen up, and let's see if anyone has anything. We have our Q&A portion for about 15 minutes. If anyone wants to send questions to the chat box, anything you want Terry to take a look at or show you while we have a few minutes, I'll just give it a second to see if anyone has anything they want to send in. And just as a reminder, while we're waiting on some questions, on April 28th, we are having a complete demo of this new version of Infor CRM, where we'll take a deeper look into some of these items Terry's been showing. And you can sign up for that on our website, simplesoft.net. And I will be sending out this recording and links to our information on that after this as well. David or Jason from VBS, is there anything you guys wanted to add?
No, I think that covers it. I just want to see what kind of questions the group has.
Okay. I see Don is asking if we could go over how to use the ERP data in the CRM with groups and reporting and dashboards. Terry?
Absolutely. So I spoke to the dashboards. I really didn't show you the dashboards, but in the system, you have a graphical interface between the data. It does not matter where the data comes from, as far as if it's ERP data that's moved to the CRM or user data that somebody's actually entered into the CRM. All the data is available. Right now, this web dashboard is looking at CRM opportunities. But any group that you create in the system, you can actually use as a graphical display. So all these are based on groups, which I showed you with that listing in the filters. So I can create a conditional group and then display it here with the information I want to. You'll notice as I hang over these items, it does give me a display, right? So I can pop up and I can see additional information. If I have any information in the system, as far as I'm not seeing any sales orders, but if I wanted to add information into the system, you can actually create new tabs and new information and generate the content based on the information that you may have put into one of your groups. So I can go down and I can choose multiple types of what we call widgets. So a widget is just a graphical interface on a group. I have line charts, bar charts, column charts, a funnel chart, which works great with opportunities. So where's my processes for closing opportunities, what stage, what's the dollar amount, who's got the biggest slice of the pie. You have all that capability here. So if I go in and just add a pie chart, I can choose where that data is coming from. So an entity is this left navigation, basically. So one of the items that we have available to us is strictly ERP data, which is sales orders. Now this is a demo site, so it is not integrated with an ERP, but I can show you that if you look at my list of areas I can report on, sales order is one of them. So I can actually click on sales orders and then pick one of the groups that I may have created or out of the box. And then I tell it, this data, I want you to slice and dice it this way. So I can look at it in multiple ways. I can look at it, who's the account manager, a date range, what status it's in. I can actually choose to slice my information how I need to. Metric is how I am doing math against that, right? So account of accounts, account of sales orders, that type of thing. So I can choose how I'm going to actually show my data. And then I can also display legends and labels so that I can make the data show up the way I want it to. So I do have some sales orders in here, and you can see that I just by status, I can determine that we have several of them with a sales order status, and we have some that are waiting on credit hold, I can actually navigate to that group just by looking at the view group. So that allows us to work with the data. It does not matter where that data came from. If it's in the CRM, I can work with it.
Terry, Sheila just had a question, and I responded. She was asking if the ION was sold separately or licensed separately, and I had noted that ION integration is an out-of-the-box integration that is included with your Infor CRM, and that yes, it does connect your ERP with your Infor CRM.
So
Don's asking if we can discuss how quotes work between CRM and ERP.
So quoting between the two systems is geared towards, let's see here, let me go into, so if I go into quoting, quoting can be done from either system, and then the quotes, or they call estimates on the ERP side, they do come across to the CRM. And if I go to our integrated piece, if they have, here's our integrated customer, and if they have quotes, you'll see the difference between the CRM quotes and the ERP. The ERP actually will have an EXT extension at the beginning, where the CRM has a CRM. If you go into a quote, you can build pricing, product, certain information, your bill to, ship to, information related to whether or not it's CRM or not. If it is an ERP quote, it will actually show up here as its own ID will show up. From the CRM, you can generate, you can actually generate a detailed report. So a detailed report is a deliverable PDF that you can actually send to your customers. So once the quote comes over, or you can generate it here, you can actually work with that information right here in the CRM to communicate to your customers. So it allows the products to show up if there are any products on it, and then all the bill to, ship to information that might be required. It shows up here and allows you to work with associated opportunity. So you can keep many quotes associated with an opportunity, depending on if you have a project that has other providers associated with that opportunity. You can have multiple quotes to a full project opportunity. That works a lot with subcontractors, that type of business. So you can, from the CRM side, you can add products. So that does give you that capability to build your quote from the CRM side. And so you can report then on that information. So if I have my quote from the CRM or ERP, you can work them both into the same report, group, web dashboard. The system also has crystal reports available that you can utilize for your bringing data out of the system into a static report that you can utilize in meetings. So you can build those reports, or you can use the ones that are come with the system out of the box. So it allows you to report then in one place for both environments. That's quotes, opportunities, customers, contacts, sales orders, invoices, shipments. It all is capable right here in the CRM for that end-facing reporting and KPIs.
And Terry, something else to note, you had showed the Xbar, and this is our web client we're looking at. There's also a mobile client version, and those are all included, right, when you get CRM?
Absolutely. So with the CRM, your base price includes the web client, the mobile client, the Xbar, the Outlook integration. I believe, I'm not a salesperson, but the ION, I believe, is included, or I can't remember exactly. Jessica, you'll have to speak to that one. But the ION is the only one I'm not sure about, but everything else, all the functionality you've seen right here is available with the purchase of the CRM. It's all included. The only thing that is not included is any add-ons that you might get, meaning marketing add-ons. Although the system does come with its own marketing, it allows you to work with campaigns, sending out emails right from the CRM, dealing with those campaigns and lead sources. So where did our lead come from, or what's a lead source against a campaign? You can actually manage all that information right here from the CRM, and that's that front end piece that allows you to say we have a big launch campaign for a new product. So you can create that campaign here, and then that's going to allow you to send out information to a customer base or lead base, and then that will allow you to maintain that information right here in the CRM. And the campaigns actually contain dollar values. So if a campaign is put in the system and an opportunity comes in against that campaign, I can actually go to the campaign and see that opportunity that's linked to that campaign. So it has this full 360 view between your ERP information, your CRM information, your Outlook, your marketing endeavors. All that is all contained. It's that full circle, and that's actually Infor's work, is to get that full circle value so that you have one product, one company you can go to for everything. And this is out-of-the-box integration. So it is not anything that you have to buy special for. It's right here, already built, and we hook it up, and you see the information move back and forth. I mean, that's a simplistic view of it, but it works. We've got quite a few customers on it, and the CRM really brings that front end to your visual data. So it really brings that user interface, marketing, all that into one place.
Great. Thanks, Terry. We have just a few more minutes. Terry, if you could just show the upcoming events slide real quick, just to let everyone see that again. And just again to, oh, I see real quick here. Mary's asking if there is a mobile interface and dashboards. Yes, Mary, we did review the dashboards. I will send out the recording to this, and I'll send out a recording that specifically focuses just on the dashboards for you to review. Terry, do you have a quick second to pull up the demo of the mobile? We can show that real quick.
Let me sign out.
But yes, Mary, just to confirm, when you get Infor CRM, it comes with a web client, a mobile client to access on cell phones, and that Outlook integration of Xbar.
So this is the mobile client. It is a more simplified view. Of course, it's set for the smaller interface. I can choose to view. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. I can see my account contacts. If I'm ERP enabled, I will also see some, not everything, but I will see some ERP information here also. But if I click on account, I can actually go into the account details. I can go into, I can click on a phone number. If I click on a phone number, I'm on my account. I can actually call that customer. Let me back up here and let me show you oh, that didn't work. So I can actually click on the phone number. So this is just a view, but I can, let me go back, let me find one with the phone number. Here we go. So here's one with the phone number. If I click on that on my mobile, I'll actually dial. When I am dialing, a pop-up will come up, and it'll be a note where you can enter the information. And yes, voice to text does work. So you can dictate your notes right on the account, and it will actually save. So this view that we're seeing here is the exact same data I saw in Xbar and in the web client. So you enter the information once, you see it in all those places. So the information goes to all of them because it is the same record, it's the same database, it's the same information. You're just sharing it between different say platforms or different devices. So I can see it on my computer, I can see it in my Outlook, I can see it on my phone or tablet. So it's all working.
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah.
Thanks, Terry.
So,
we're just about reaching the end. And so thanks everyone for the great questions. And thank you, Terry. This was awesome to see everything. And again, I will send out a follow-up email. So if you have more questions, or as Terry said, if you want a demo to specifically go through with just your company, or if you have any questions for VBS on your ERP system, just reach out through that follow-up email, and we'll be happy to get you whatever you need. I appreciate everybody's time today. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Thanks,
I wanted
everyone.
to pop in. There was a last question here. Somebody asked if workflows are triggered and those are event-based. So one of the items that the ION does provide is workflow. It is a simplified workflow, but yes, it can work with your integrated system to send notifications or simple changes in the systems. So yes, there is workflows enabled with that ION integration.
Thanks, Terry. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.